Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wayne's World of Science and Technology, where I try and break down things and hopefully not trip over my tongue too much. I'm really good at that. 3.5 years ago, I wrote a script and produced a long video where I said that the Russian Federation was no longer competitive, or couldn't be. And it was heavily misunderstood by a lot of people. What I was trying to do in that video was to point out that the modern world depends on semiconductors, and that Russia has no semiconductor industry. They have to import everything. And if the sanctions actually worked, this would cause a massive problem. The reason it causes a massive problem is it's driving up prices, of course. As I put in another video, the only reason for sanctions is to create Han Solo. You got sanctions, there's going to be smugglers. That's just the way it is. So, where are we sitting now, 3.5 years later? We have solid evidence from inside Russia that they are having massive problems with electronics. And these electronics range quite widely, from elevator control systems. Believe it or not, yeah, a lot of the elevators in Russia actually have Western control systems. A lot of the machine tools that are being used inside of Russia are Western in origin. There are no parts available for them anymore. And I'm not just talking the mechanical parts, I'm talking the electronics. The mechanical parts you can kind of work around. The electronics you can't. You have the issues with the train system. And, well, okay, the Ukrainians have been dropping bombs on the trains, but the trains are controlled by electronics. And they're aging out. You have the issue with phones. Right now, it's impossible to get a lot of varieties of phones in Russia, or at least for a reasonable price. The ones that you do find are smuggled in and are quite expensive. You want to buy an iPhone in Russia, you're probably going to pay 3 times the value of it anywhere else, just because the smugglers need to make a profit. And yeah, I know iPhones aren't going to knock the country offline, but a lot of cash registers, the electronic payment systems, all of this is run by computers, all of which run on electronics. Electronics can last a long time. When I say they can, basically the rule of thumb is if your electronic device doesn't break within the first week, it's probably good for 5 years. But, and here's the but, there are things that have an impact. We are at the point now with electronics, especially a lot of the more modern stuff, where cosmic rays can literally destroy the CPU, because we're drawing lines that are so tiny that, yes, a stray photon hitting it in the wrong place can damage it, or a stray neutron or a stray electron. It's extremely difficult when you're working at levels like that to make the stuff reliable for long periods of time. That we have managed to is great, but when you hit the lifetime of the device, the odds of it breaking go up and go up and go up until the point where, let's face it, you might be lucky. Something might say 5 years lifespan, you might get 20 out of it. But you might just get 5 years in one day as well. And that's why I came up with, in that original video, my estimate of 5 years. 5 years is approximately how long it takes for the half-life. Basically, that is the half-life of most electronics. If you've got a piece of electronics that lasts 10 years, and when I say last 10 years, I'm not talking a computer you've got sitting in a corner that you turn on once a month. I'm talking about something used daily. sorry, dog is acting up. It gets really dicey as to how long the thing will last. Let's face it, the more you use something, the quicker it's going to wear out. And a lot of what they're using Western electronics for is for the really high-end stuff. You're talking military production, control of refineries. Yeah. Notice all those refineries that went boom? Imagine if the electronics got taken out. All of a sudden, you've got to do things in a totally different method, which requires a hell of a lot more work. Now, yeah, you can do it without electronics. It's not as easy because it's going to require more people to monitor. The electronics effectively give you are a leverage point that you can leverage to make yourself more efficient. And that's what Russia has done. Without the electronics, Russia's efficiency level is dropping daily. Now, it's not dropping a lot every day, but there is a significant impact daily. And over a period of time, it is adding up. Now, I gave 5 years. We're 3.5 years in. And it looks to me like I may have been off by a year. It may only be 4 years until the Russian economy becomes so inefficient that that they become a non-factor. And it's, this is all estimates based on what public data I can get out of Russia, which admittedly is pretty limited because the Russian Federation is trying to block everything that would really tell anybody what's happening. So I have to go by a lot of inferences. Look at reports, see if something odd happened, try and work out what happened, or what was likely to have happened. Sorry, the dog just tried to trip me again. And quite frankly, I don't know that I'm doing it properly. I think I am. But I'm going to be honest with you. With the sheer lack of data we're getting out of Russia right now, it's really hard to be sure. But that sheer lack of data is the best evidence I have that they are in severe problems. They wouldn't be hiding things if they didn't have issues. Anyway, that's it for now, folks. Like, share, subscribe, and all that guff if you got something out of it, and have a good day. Bye-bye.